Before we hop into your session, I'm just going to go over a couple of things.
Can you see me okay?
Oh, yeah, I can see you perfect. Can you see me?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So before we connected, I pulled you some oracle cards. We're not going to go over them in the session, but I will send you guidebook descriptions and pictures of them, and that'll be a deeper level of messaging. And then I asked each one of your chakras what kind of crystals would help with their healing and their growth. And so I built you a crystal grid, which I'll send you pictures of as well. And then the replay I'll have to you either this evening or tomorrow whenever it gets done processing. Does that sound okay?
Okay. Yep.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
All right. So when I saw the notes that you left me, we wanted to talk about past lives, spirit guide names, what areas of energy work I should focus on, any fears that I need to release in order to open up to my next chapters. Does that sound correct?
Yeah. So just in a nutshell, I really want this session to be about focus
Okay.
and because I tend to love everything and like everything, so I'm kind of all over the place right now.
Mm-hmm.
See, my hands are like I'm
Yes.
all over the place. And do I go here? Do I go here? I need to focus. This is a time. I'm 51,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, may be embarking on a second career, and I really just want to focus and hone in on what it is, or I'm supposed to do, or where I should go that would best benefit me.
Great.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. So I will say that before we get into your spiritual gifts that your higher self wanted to relay to you in these past lives, I call them different incarnations because they're not exactly past. They're kind of all happening one time. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to share that with you in a second. But one of your gifts is that you are all over the place.
Oh,
It
that's a
has to
gift.
do. It does.
The curse.
It has to do. So I think that's very ironically funny, but I'll explain in a minute. Okay. So,
Okay.
but sometimes we need to rein in the chaos sometimes. So I get
Yeah.
what you're saying, and need tangible steps
Yeah.
as well. Okay. So what are you perceiving down the line as far as potentially a different career or another career?
Well, I briefly told you that, like I said, my career that I have right now, I love. I
Mhm.
love being a respiratory therapist. I think I do a lot of good and I'm really good at it. But I think I'm moving toward a more metaphysical, a more energy type, healing type. And so, like I said, I'm all over the place. I'm interested in sound bath. I'm interested in Reiki. I'm interested in doing what you do. I'm interested in fine tuning being a medium. I'm interested in reading tarot. I'm all over the place. And while that's great because I do tend to try this, try that, try this, try that, it's also kind of expensive, Sage, like to
Yeah.
take your program. Like I'm willing
Yeah.
to invest in myself, whether it be with your program or with the sound healing,
Sure.
but I can't do everything. And I mean, it can get,
Right.
I just need to focus. Like if it's supposed to be with you,
Mhm.
let me do, I'll pay today. You see what I'm saying?
I
I
do.
just,
It's what's a right path for us right now to
yeah,
get to our goal that we're trying to get to.
because I can be interested in so many different things. I just need some focus. I need to rein it in, do that,
Mhm.
and go from there.
Okay, so well, let's talk about what came through because then it'll make more sense of why you have this energetic template of being interested in so many different things. But you're
Okay.
right. We only have sometimes there's only so much time and energy during the day. We need to figure out, these more tangible steps. Okay. So let's get into it. When I went into your field, I saw a hockey player, like the
Hmm.
sport. Okay. So in this other incarnation, you were a professional hockey player. Now, I don't
Really?
know if this person has already passed on or if this is a concurrently running timeline. We didn't really get into the schematics of that because it wasn't pertaining to what I'm about to tell you. So he had a dragon guardian who was
Okay.
helping give him speed and strength. And so he was actually channeling from him. I don't know if he was consciously aware of it or unconsciously aware of it, but he had this big dragon guide that was helping him. Now, the reason that that dragon was coming forward is saying that he could help you. He said he would
I've
love to
seen
be.
that dragon.
Oh, have you seen
I've
him?
seen,
Okay.
with my third, because
Yeah.
I've worked with my third eye. I was meditating and I saw this big, it looked like a Chinese red
Oh my gosh,
dragon.
yeah. It's like a Chinese, I was gonna tell you, it's kind of like a
It
Chinese
looked like a
dragon.
red Chinese dragon, and it was coming right for me, but not
Yeah,
in a scary way.
sure. Yeah.
Oh
Trying to
my God,
trying to enfold into
I've
your
seen
energy field. Yeah. He's also made out of light, which I thought was really interesting. I haven't seen a dragon that was made purely out of light. Now, does he materialize more so like a dragon? Yes, but he's more light than he is solid, if that makes
that.
sense. Okay.
Okay.
So he said that you can call him Ephraim,
Ephraim.
like Efrim.
Efrim. Uh-huh.
And he's going to help you with your energy healing abilities. He can offer you the same type of strength and speed.
Okay.
So the speed that he's referring to is going to have to do with some of these gifts that we're about to talk about.
Okay.
Okay. So, and if you want to find more information about that hockey player, that's something that you can do in meditation, ask your higher self to give you more information. But I had to kind of move on to these other facets. But if you
Okay.
want to connect with him, you can. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you know who Professor X is from like the
No.
X-Men series? Okay.
No.
So, he is, well, I was going to say he's the world's greatest psychic, but he's not. He's the world's second greatest psychic in this X-Men universe. Okay. Jean Grey or Phoenix is the first. But anyway, so he has this helmet that he puts on. It's called Cerebro, and it helps him see all of the X-Men in the whole entire world, like wherever they're at. It amplifies his psychic abilities. So that's what I saw when I went into your field. And then your higher self told me that you are a connector.
Hmm.
So connectors, I'm one. My friend Kimberly is one. This is, you know how to find people who have similar energetic fields as one another or similar consciousness levels, and
Mm-hmm.
tell them like, hey, you need to meet up with this person. You need to meet this person, and they're going to help you with this, and they're going to help you, all these different things.
So
Okay.
I'm a middleman.
Yeah, kind of like a middleman. Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
that can be really beneficial on the 3D plane, just in our regular human existence. Now, when you are reading people who have similar consciousness, that doesn't always mean that you're matching people up that are on the same consciousness. Sometimes you are having someone who's on a higher one and you have someone that's on a lower one, and they need to meet with that other person so they can mentor them, and whatever that means, skills, abilities, gifts, whatever. Okay, coaching. So your higher self said this is a very valuable skill because you can actually take this into the Akashic records as well. And I'm going to explain that. You and I have very similar gifts,
Yeah. Yeah.
extremely similar gifts from what I was reading. So when I am doing Akashic record readings for other persons, oftentimes I'm meeting with so many different cosmic beings, etheric beings that are not on this planet, they're elsewhere. And let's say that I'm giving Sarah a reading over here. Okay. And she needs some type of energy healer that is outside of my realms of capabilities. Well, I might have met Jeff's spirit guides or his other incarnations over here. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And while I'm giving Sarah a reading, I can go over and call Jeff's team who I met
Oh,
beforehand and bring them into her fields if they say
okay.
that's okay. So it is creating this etheric network, not just with
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
okay.
You're
But that's
handing
not
out business cards as you go.
that. So yes, like the business cards. I love that. That's what I'm gonna I'm gonna stick with that from now on. But yeah, the business cards. Do you probably know what a Rolodex is, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So we're building a giant Rolodex of
Okay.
different energetic beings. Okay.
Okay.
So what you can also do with this gift, because you're going to come across so many different types of persons, is read the different lineages that people have within them. For example, you can tell if people have very strong starseed lineages like Pleiadians or Syrian or Mintakan or Lumeria, Atlantis. You can tell if they have a lot of fairy energy, elf energy, dragon, mermaid, sirens, whatever that is. You can read their energetic templates, their structures,
Mm.
say, oh, you have a lot of XYZ energy. Let me help you find your incarnation with that specific energy. Now, everybody has a lot of different makeups, but some people carry a much stronger field and present and project that in this incarnation. Like for me, it's a fairy. Everybody's like, oh my God, you're a fairy, right? And that's because I'm very connected to that different incarnation of mine. And I purposely project it, right? But I have all these other incarnations back here too. Does that make sense?
It does. It
Okay.
does.
So
Makes sense. It makes sense. Do we
yes,
know what my primary energy is?
I can ask. That's a good question because I didn't even ask that, but I will ask in this moment.
Okay.
When we get towards the end here. Okay.
Okay.
So actually, okay, this other incarnation's talking to me, but I'm telling her to wait 1 second so we can get through this part. Okay. Yeah, just 1 second. Okay. So I don't get off track. So you were also able to read people's most prominent archetypes.
Okay, what does that mean?
An archetype can be seen as, for example, a magician, a priestess, a shaman, a quantum architect, a witch, an earth guardian, etc., etc.
Okay.
Sorceress, what have you. Okay. You can also read other people's spiritual gifts when you develop this a little bit more. So very much what I do as well of saying, hey, this is what is open and available to you depending on what chapter of life you're in and how much healing that you've done and how far you've raised your consciousness. Okay. That's a little further in depth though. First it comes with reading people's type of lineages that they have or their archetypes.
Archetype. Okay.
That's easier. Spiritual gifts have a lot of different layers to them. And you have to be really good at past life reading, because when I am sharing people's gifts with them, oftentimes it's not just the gifts that they incarnated with, it's gifts that other incarnations are experts in, and they can actually channel from those different incarnations and bring it through to this incarnation. So like for you have one that has a very specific gift that you're going to learn from her directly and pull it through to this incarnation.
Okay.
Okay. So your higher self said that you had very keen eyes of perception, and that's probably why you went into the health fields that you did.
Okay.
You were able to read people on very deep levels. And right now, you probably think that that's just humans and maybe their medical things that they have going on, but this far expands outside of that, outside of those realms. Okay, the best ways to develop this gift is learning about different types of energies that people can carry, like fairies, elves, you know, all those different things, or the different type of starseed lineages. So you could really go on a deep dive about, like I said, again, Miriam and Taka, Pleiadian. Have you done any research in those areas?
No, it's weird because though it sounds familiar, I've never looked into it. So it's almost like I've heard it and know it, but I don't know it because I've never looked into that. So no.
Yeah, it's just back here in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I went on a deep dive on those starseed lineages, but then eventually they didn't call to me as much. And so I kind of refocused my area over here with like fairies and elves and dragons and unicorns and things of that nature. So not that one's better than the other, but you don't have to be a reader for the all. Starseed lineages are not my jam. That's not what I love to do. I like to do all of these other type of energies. So just bear that.
I'm more drawn to the fairy and unicorn, and I am more drawn to that.
Yeah, like,
look at the unicorn on your cup.
Oh, the unicorn, right? Or like gnomes or goblins, or yeah, just that is a realm that I prefer to be in. Now, can I read starseed lineages? Yes, because I did all that research in the beginning, but I tend not to pull as many of those people in because it's just not something I'm super interested in myself. So the reason that your higher self wants me to say this is you have to find what calls to you.
Okay. And can I Google it, or should I
you can Google all that. You can
reading in a book somewhere.
You can Google it. You can put into Google different type of star races, and they will all come up. Yeah, star races. To learn about different, let's call them like woodland creatures, if you will, like unicorns and fairies and elves and gnomes and goblins and things of that nature. The best thing that you can do, one, is children's meditations, like
Oh,
for
okay.
children, but for yourself, because
Okay.
one, your inner children will love that, but it helps open up your
Okay.
imaginative scape. It's really fun and enjoyable because when people start to do this work, like, yes, it sounds super fun, but at the same time, sometimes people are scared because they're like, oh my gosh, what's going to come through?
Oh,
So,
of course.
yes, and I'm not saying that's you necessarily, but if you do have those fears running, doing children's meditations is a great way to feel safer doing those
Okay.
things, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
You can also find all types of unicorn Reiki or light language with unicorns or fairies or, whatever type of beings. You can watch magical movies and TV shows, like anything that's going to help open up your fantasy imaginative scapes is going
Okay.
to help. Or mermaids, sirens, whatever you want to get into. Okay.
Okay.
Um, there is also a whole nother sector of magical creatures that are outside of those realms that you could also have access to once you get a little bit deeper into this. Like when I'm going into people's fields, I see things that nobody has information about here yet.
Okay.
So working within the parameters of what we already know, dragons, mermaids, sirens, unicorns, fairies, that's a better place to start because there's a safety to that. Okay.
Okay. It's more familiar.
Yes, more familiar. So the
Okay.
archetypes, we want to learn about those too. So again, magician, priestess, shaman, quantum architects, witches, earth guardians, whatever type of archetypes that you can get your hands on. You can go onto Google and type in magical archetypes.
Oh,
Divine,
magic. Okay.
yeah, magical archetypes, divine feminine archetypes, divine masculine archetypes, spiritual archetypes. And you're going to get a whole plethora of information there.
Okay.
Also, learning about different modalities.
Okay.
As many different modalities as you can get your hands on, because
Okay.
the more that you can learn about, it doesn't have to be super in depth. Okay. It can be, hey, let's watch 10 YouTube videos about this, or read a whole bunch of articles, or go on TikTok and watch people talking about them. Okay.
And when you talk about modality, give me some examples of a
Okay. So
modality.
modalities are different ways that persons can share their energy healing gifts.
Okay.
So we're all energy healers at the basis core, but how you share that with others is dependent on however it brings you joy. Okay. So some examples of that would be tarot oracle readers, astrology, astronomy, Akashic records, inner child healing, quantum healing, shamanism, all of those different facets.
I was also studying numerology.
Oh, right. Numerology. Now, whatever calls out to you is who
Hmm.
you will pull in.
Okay.
I pull in a lot of people who want to be inner child healers and Akashic record readers and past life readers, timeline readers, right? So I spend a lot of my time researching those things. Now, if I went over here and I started researching numerology and astrology and tarot and oracle and all those things, I would end up pulling in people that also want to go down those avenues. So again, we always
Okay.
want to think, what do I want to help people with? What brings me joy to talk about and research? Because you're right, you can't research everything.
I've tried.
So, sound healing, for an example, would
Yeah.
be good for, not that you have to take a whole course. If you want to be a sound healer, beautiful. But maybe that's your higher self pinging you and saying, like, hey, you're supposed to go activate people to be sound healers. That's why you
Mm.
need to know this information. But maybe you want to be a sound healer too. You can do both if you want. But you having a better understanding of modalities that are already in the collective consciousness will help you find people to tell, hey, this is one of your prominent gifts. Further down the line, just like with me, when I go meet with different cosmic and etheric beings or different people's incarnations, I'm learning about gifts that nobody has yet on this earth plane.
Mm.
So that's deeper in your journey.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's interesting.
But we have to start activating persons that have gifts that are known here first,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
It does. I'm
Okay.
following.
So
I
this
don't understand everything yet, but I'm following you.
that's okay. So this is why your higher self was saying, hey, part of our gift is that we have a hand in so many different things. Oops, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, your camera froze. Okay. So I
Okay.
want to make sure you're still there. So your higher self was saying that part of your gift is having your hands in so many different things because you are a connector.
Oh,
You have
okay.
to know a lot in order to
Okay.
connect more people and activate people. So for me, it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes to be this type of person because it's like I need to focus on something.
Yeah.
Okay, so but what we can do is filter it through the lens of I'm learning these things at the level that I need to in order to activate this within somebody else. So sometimes I will learn about a new modality or an archetype or a type of energy that people carry, and I'll research it until I feel like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, that's what I
What I
do.
need to
So
do.
I research it and then I sit with it and I kind of
Mhm.
think about it and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Then I move on to the next and on to the next. Sometimes I do that. So maybe
Yeah,
that's good.
it is good. Yeah, you have to listen to that intuition and discernment and be okay with letting things go because if they're meant to come back around, they will.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I was like, okay, I don't need this anymore. And then a year later, I'm like getting back into it because I have clients that I'm going to end up meeting that need the information.
Okay.
So we have to practice feeling that intuitive ping within of that's enough, move on. But
Okay.
sometimes that can come with feelings of being flaky and not following through. And oh, I'm never going to be able to do anything with this because I'm not becoming an expert at it.
Right.
You're not meant to. You're meant to pull all these different pieces together to help this number of people. And then we go on to the next thing to help this number of people, right? That's how you work, your archetype.
Okay. 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 That makes so much, that makes us so, that makes a lot of sense. That
Okay.
does. Because I always say, I've always told people, it was like, I know a lot about a little. I know a little about a lot. That's what I tell people. I know a little
Mhm.
about a lot. And I can have a conversation with the president of the United States
Mhm.
or the guy that's sitting in the gutter because he's homeless. Like I have a wide, you know what I mean? Maybe
I do.
that's part of it too. So maybe that's why too, because I know a little about a lot of things and that's helpful.
It is
But
really
you're
helpful.
right.
You're
It can make me feel scattered and even have a little bit of anxiety, like, oh God, what do I focus on?
yes.
So that's helpful.
Okay, so do you want to be giving people sessions? Is that where we're headed?
I would love to be a practitioner in something. So just more specifically, if I can, I come from an abused family. And I wanted to be a police officer because I wanted to right the wrong and save every child I could. I went through the police academy and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the
Mhm.
domestic calls. I couldn't do it. So I went into being a paralegal instead, yada, yada. And then I found medicine, which has been phenomenal. So that's I'd kind of like to circle back and do something where I can help people with their inner child, that inner child, because a lot of, I don't know how to put it, a lot of the problems that adults have is because they haven't been able to reconcile what's
Mhm.
happened in their past. Of course, right? That's basic. So that's kind of where I'm at. If I can do something with that, I don't know. I've done a lot of work on myself. For example, if I meet a problem at work, which just happened recently, this person at work was, for whatever reason, we don't know each other, but she was ignoring me. She was ignoring me. She had heard some things that weren't true about me, but she was ignoring me. And it triggered me. It really triggered me that she was outcasting me. She was ignoring me. I'm good at it now. So I can go, okay, when did this happen? Where did this happen? Who did this? It was my mom. My mom had done that. I was sitting in the living room. I was probably early teenager, And she was telling my siblings not to interact with me, to ignore me because I was a bad influence, blah, blah, blah. So I can do that. A
Mhm.
lot of people can't, a lot of people can't do that. And so that's kind of where I'd like to help. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's a skill that is acquired over time and practice and lots of diving within self and looking at your
It
shadows.
is.
So like that, I commend you for going through that. It's intense.
It
But
was worth it.
oh
It's
yeah,
worth it, you know.
it will absolutely revolutionize and change your life. And I don't know how
I
deep
could
you've gone.
pinpoint exactly when that happened, why that happened, and I was like, "Oh, that's where it's coming from. I'm done with that." And I wasn't triggered. I'm not triggered by it anymore. And though we're still not friends, I think everybody's my friend, but though we're still not friends at work, you know, it doesn't trigger me. Do you, boo? That's what I say now. I'm like, "Okay, do you. That's your shit. That's not my shit," you know. But
It's very beneficial to be able to look at your trauma without embodying your trauma.
now, what I am afraid of, I'm watching one of your videos.
Mhm.
What I'm not good at yet, I don't believe, is not allowing somebody else's trauma to trigger me. And I was watching one of your videos recently where you said you have to be able to speak to a client who may have had even the same trauma I had and
Mhm.
not react emotionally or have a trigger, because then you can't counsel that person, because then you can't help that person from a different perspective. You know what I mean? So,
That video was not for you.
okay. Okay.
That was in reference to persons who are not actively working on their trauma and inner child healing
Okay.
and are not at the processy levels that you were at.
Okay.
If we
Okay.
are already at a part or a point in our life where when the triggers are coming up and we automatically say, where is this coming from? I need to do some self-discovery, and we are able to find where it's coming from and
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's totally okay.
Okay.
That is more for
Okay.
persons that want to become energy healers and practitioners that have not done that amount of shadow work yet. And that's
Okay.
why they have such an emotional charge. I still have emotional charges sometimes when I am working with clients. I'm not above that. I'm a human and there's still
Sure.
things that I need to continue to work on. But when I do have a emotional charge to something, I immediately after that session, and maybe not right after the session, but in the background, right? I'm saying that's something we got to look at.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then I work on it. So as long as we're actively working on that, and
All
sometimes
the
it's
every
beneficial
day, all
for
the
us though.
time.
Yeah. If we're getting triggered like that from a client,
Uh-huh.
that's great because now we can go in deeper within self and do that discovery work with our inner children, right?
Okay.
That video is not for you.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm paying attention, right? I'm paying
Yeah.
attention.
And there's times where you will get emotionally charged. And sometimes emotional charge is not always a bad thing either. When I think about some things that I have experienced in life and somebody is actively going through those right now, sometimes it is good for me to get a little bit emotionally charged because then they feel that I really truly understand what they're going through. And sometimes
Okay.
that can be very healing for somebody to hold sacred space and say, hey, I've been there. I get it. You're going to come out on the other side. And sometimes you do need your emotions to come up for them to really feel that in their body and their soul. I'm not alone. And this person made it out on the other side, and I can too. So sometimes when I'm talking to somebody,
Okay.
I'm getting real like, I need you to listen to me. That has an emotional charge behind it, but it's a necessary emotional charge.
Okay.
Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so oh, let me swing back because your higher self wanted me to say something here. What were we talking about? Oh, inner child healing. Okay. If you are going to be a person who activates others with their magical gifts and their archetypes and their different incarnations and what have you, the number one blocker, I don't even like to call it blockers, but the number one blockers that I see with persons is their inner child trauma.
Okay.
It's them not believing in themselves, not thinking that they're magical or that they're special. They have low confidence, low self-esteem. Life has told them that magic is not real or magical is evil, or they're scared to go into the ethers and find these different facets of themselves. Most of that comes down to inner child healing.
Okay.
So I think that you are very spot on with, hey, inner child healing needs to be one of my biggest modalities, because that's one of the biggest blockers to people connecting to their
Well, and I really
multidimensional power.
appreciated the fact that you said that that is the number one first thing that you have to do when you go through your academy is the inner child
Oh
healings.
yeah.
So that's awesome.
Oh, even before that, before you can even get to inner child healing, okay, and you know, as a nurse too, or a respiratory therapist, that central nervous system,
Yeah.
emotions, subconscious mindset reprogramming, those are things that we got to get to even before we get to the inner child healing. So those are all things, even if it's not learning with me, if you want to do
Mhm.
inner child healing, those are all really important things that you need to understand and learn about and progress in.
Okay.
So yeah, do we want to do all this multidimensional spiritual gift activation? Sure, fabulous, past lives, everything. At the same time, you need to be an inner child healer.
Okay.
Okay. So if that's some direction for you, that right there is a great lane for you to be in while you're
Oh,
doing this, learning about energetic fields and archetypes and different modalities.
okay.
Which honestly, learning about different modalities and energetic fields and archetypes, inner children love that stuff. They love figuring out why what makes them magical and special.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get excited. I get nerdy
Exactly.
about it.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh, mermaid, yay. Okay. So that is a
My
great kind of,
unicorns are my favorite animal, and I keep trying to tell my 2 kids, they're like, "Unicorns aren't real, mom." I said, "Oh, yeah, they are."
yes, they are very much so. But that sometimes can be the carrot and the stick as well for people with their inner children and going on these healing journeys of saying like, hey, these are the things that you'll be able to do if you do this first.
Okay.
Kind of like the goal over here. So it
Okay.
works well hand in hand. Because nobody wants to go through all that trauma and shadow work without something really awesome on the other side, just to be transparent. Okay. Okay, so when I went to a different section of your field, I was asking your higher self in your guides, hey, she really needs a mentor with this gift. Okay, like an etheric mentor. And then I felt a male presence come forward, and I said, I don't want her to have a male. I said, I want her to
Okay.
work with a female. And I'm not sure, that could be for several different reasons. Sometimes we have trauma things happen in childhood, or, you know,
Because I'm afraid,
narcissistic.
because I'm afraid of men. I mean,
Well, that's why
honestly.
then. When I read your energetic field, I was like, a man's not going to work. No offense to men if y'all listen to this, but just
My granddad was the only man I could really be around as a kid that I felt safe. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I said, I'm going to veto that. And,
Yay, I'm glad I have you on my
yeah.
side.
However,
Oh,
okay, when I went into your or a different section of your fields, I landed in a actual field, and I started walking, and there was this little like, cute creature. I couldn't see what it was at first, and I picked it up with my hand. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so adorable!" It was a mouse.
okay.
His name is Higgins.
Okay.
He is a male, but it's not the same.
Okay.
So I said, "Oh, are you here to help with?" And he said, "I am one of the best readers in the land." And so
Oh,
this is not from Earth. This is from some other dimensional place where animals have like communicative languaging skills, and they like kind of everybody walks upright, kind of like, you know, humans. Okay, so I said, "Okay, well, can you help me with Robin's gifts?" And he said, "Yes, follow me." And then we went to a lake, and he told me to sit. And I said, okay. So he said, what do you hear? And I said, I hear an echo of a woman's voice. And then all of a sudden I was in the water, and there was a mer person there, not a mermaid, but some type of similar. I've never seen it before. And she said, come, come, come. There's much I have to tell you. And while I was in the water, she asked me to put these headphones on. And all of a sudden I could hear whale noises. And
oh, wow.
I said, oh, she needs to go train with the whales from Sirius. Sirius is a water-based starseed planet. This mer person is a different incarnation of you, and she is from Sirius.
Sirius is a world. Sirius is a
Mhm.
place.
It's a
Okay.
planet. It's a planet.
Okay.
Yep, water-based planet. And that is where our whales and dolphins come from.
Water-based planet, and I need to work with the dolphins, you
The
said.
whales. The
Oh,
whales
need
specifically.
okay.
The whales specifically. Because whales are master frequency finders.
Oh.
And they are going to help you with this gift. Not only the whales, but this mer person, she is also going to help you. Her name is Nenita, like NEE dash NETA.
Okay. And that was the mer person.
Yes. Nenita. Now, the mermaids that we have here on Earth or in different places, she is a different form of mer person. There are a lot of different types. I'm sure if you ask her to show you what she looks like, she will.
Okay. And do I reach the whales? Do I reach this through meditation?
I would put on some whale music or whale meditation or whale sounds.
Okay.
Or you could even find a Syrian meditation, if you will. Whale sounds are probably going to be better. They are going to help you raise your vibration and frequency and also your perception of seeing frequencies within others.
Okay.
And make you a more proficient reader so that when you go do read person's archetypes or their energy fields that they carry or their spiritual gifts, you'll be able to see more clearly or hear more clearly, if you will.
Okay.
Okay. So she said that in this incarnation, that you are supposed to be helping people with the age-old question of who am I? Okay. She said people need to understand that there is more outside of this life. They need somebody to unlock that within them. Then she said the other side of that is how are you going to incarnate that, or how are you going to incorporate that here? There are a lot of persons that want to know this information. Why? Are we using it as a form of escapism? Are we using it because we want to bring that medicine here onto this planet? Like, how is that going to change your life, understanding this information?
If you know who you are, how is that gonna how is that gonna better your life? How is that gonna better your I don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to sit with for a minute. So I am supposed to help people know who they are.
Yeah, in whatever type of facet. So, for an example, I gave a session the other day, and the client was one of the original tree people. So, tree people help create the earth, like with Mother Gaia. Like they are the founders. Okay.
Wow.
And she said, well, I thought that you were going to tell me more about my mermaid facets. And I said, well, I don't necessarily think that you don't have those, but this tree person information is what you need right now for this chapter, because she is meant to be a bringer of that information into the collective consciousness. And it's going to help her more so with energy healing abilities and becoming an energy healer. And she is meant to help with environmentalism and all these different things, which she was super excited about, but she didn't know that that gift was even readily available to her, or that she was that type of person. So, yes, does she have mermaid lineages? Sure. What she needs to know about is the tree people.
But right, so, right, and
because that's part of her soul mission here. That's part of why she's soul contracted to be here. Now, can she change that and want to go do her mermaid stuff? Sure. But her higher self, her higher awarenessy, the person that signed up to be here, said, hey, you'd be really good at this. And we'd help a lot of people, and we'd help also find other tree people and activate them and teach people how to reconnect to the trees to learn ancient magic. So she has a choice. She has free will if she doesn't want to do it. But when I told her, she was like, oh, yeah, this is it. But that gift is coming to help her in this human incarnation.
Okay.
Now, so I will tell you the escapism parts. Okay. So sometimes persons will asked me to look at their different incarnations because they want a reason as to why things are not working out the way that they want here in this lifetime. Okay. So that is a different incarnation who you are experiencing a rollover karmic lesson. They had problems, the same problems you got in this one, but they are utilizing that different incarnation to blame what is going on here. And I say, you have sovereignty. That's something that you need to work out with your inner children.
Okay.
Because if you don't work it out here with your inner children and why that stuff started in the first place, you're not going to be able to help yourself or that other incarnation heal. Like, we can't just utilize that as a form of bypassing.
Okay.
So that's what this mer person was explaining. Anytime that we pull this information through for somebody, it needs to be in the lens of how is this going to help them in this incarnation or other people.
Okay. How is it going to help them in this incarnation?
Yeah. How's it going to help? What are they going to do with it? Okay. Because now we're providing medicine. There are other types of seers and perceivers that are relaying information, just strictly information, just informative information. That's not what your archetype is supposed to be doing. Your archetype is supposed to be saying, what are you doing for your soul mission while you were here? Why are we not working towards our soul mission? Why are we not believing in ourselves? We need to bring that into life, into creation while we're here. And that's the type of healer you are.
Okay.
You are not just an informative healer, which that's fine if somebody is, but that's not you.
Okay.
That's probably also why you're so drawn to inner child healing in the first place, because you understand the deep inner workings of persons, their psyche and their energy fields. Like, even if you're not consciously aware of it, you incarnated with that. Okay. And saying they need to know all of this.
Okay.
They need to understand the total inner workings in order to bring forth their full soul mission.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
I just don't know how I'm going to do it, but it does make sense.
Well, we're going to talk about some ways you can get into it too.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Because I know that I'm not here to just, here's tarot, I call it the sugar coating. I'm not here to sugarcoat. I feel like I do want to do more deeper healing and resolution. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes. And I do want to say, if there's anybody watching this in the future, that there are some tarot readers and oracle card readers that are next level soul readers and help people make tons of forward movement in their life, and are just fantastic and fabulous at what they do.
Yes. Okay. That's for sure.
But
yes, I've encountered several good ones for sure.
For sure. But then there are other persons who are solely informative, or they're not giving tangible steps about how to integrate and implement and how to make effective changes. Okay. That is band-aiding things for people. And it's not actually giving them the medicine that they need. And so that is what I'm saying. That's why you feel drawn to, I need to help persons on a deeper level and not just put a band-aid on things.
Yep. Okay.
But in order to become that type of healer, you're already on track. We need to understand ourselves on the deepest level that we can, because then we can read people at that level as well and help them.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I said, well, before I say that, being able to connect with different incarnations, one of the beautiful things that you can do is embody that different incarnations' characteristics to help you in this incarnation. So if you need somebody who is really good, or if you are struggling in this incarnation with finances or interpersonal relationships or your confidence or your self-esteem, etc., if you have a different incarnation that can become one of your mentors or your guides that you can channel that energy from and learn their medicine and downloads and insights, is going to help you make so much forward progress in life.
For sure. Oh, right? I would agree with that 100%. Now, how do I get there?
Okay. There's usually levels. Okay. But your higher self wanted you to be aware of That
Okay.
is one of the goals that you're working on, is
Okay.
helping people do that.
Okay.
So that's an end goal. We're not there yet, but that's coming down the pipeline. Okay.
Okay.
So I said, well, what does she need to focus on in order to bring this forth? And Nanita, the mer person, said she needs to believe that she is capable. Okay.
Okay. I'm working on it for sure.
And that
Believe.
she has a support team.
Okay.
So one, you have Nanita and you have Ephraim, the dragon. And because he has strength, helping with strength, that can be strength in your self-confidence.
Okay.
You can call
Okay.
upon him for speed. His other gift is to help you frequency read faster.
You said speed and strength.
Strength, speed and strength. His
Okay.
speed is to help you frequency read faster
Okay.
and people's Akashic records. This is
Okay.
this is a type of Akashic work.
Okay.
Now, the way that we get here, because I know you're like, this a lot. So when we talked about before, as far as finding different energy fields that people carry in archetypes and modalities, that's all we need to start right there.
Okay.
Because there's certain puzzle pieces that have to
Yeah.
clink into place.
One's going to lead to the next,
Yeah, just
right?
clink into place, right? You're
Okay.
raising your consciousness, and some of these things you're not going to download in until you're at a certain level of consciousness, and the only way you get there is taking these tangible steps, and also have
Okay.
trust and faith in yourself, and
Yeah.
understanding that you already know. Oh, let me fix this. Hold on.
That has been definitely a process.
Yes, that you already know how to do these things.
Okay.
We are reactivating it within us. You are already a very proficient frequency reader. We're just going to
Okay.
get even more proficient at it, but we got to kickstart it with doing some of these tangible action steps. Okay. Also, going
Okay.
down the route of inner child healing, like continuing to go down that path will help you.
Okay.
Talking with Ephraim, going in meditation, asking him to teach you, asking Nanita and Higgins to also help you. They're your etheric guides. Higgins also has a whole plethora of things that he can help you with.
Okay.
Working with the whales.
Okay.
Now, all of this is wonderful and great, but sometimes the only way you learn is giving sessions to other people. You have to have people to read. And
Yeah.
so some of this is only going to open up and expand the more that you offer services to other people. Now, when I first started, I have a background in psychology, and I was not utilizing as much of my psychic abilities in the beginning. And so what I was doing was more so helping people see what their strengths are.
Okay.
Like reading their energy. Well, I didn't know it was reading people's energy fields then, but reading it and saying, this is how we can improve your self-concept and improve your confidence. Let me reflect back to you all of the amazing things about you, and helping
Okay.
pinpoint more tangible skills like, hey, you're really good at leadership or motivation or accountability, or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's obviously, excuse me, that's also a really beneficial skill as well that people need.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
don't have to utilize as much of your psychic reading abilities, because when you first start doing that, you get really nervous about it. And you're like, oh, what if nothing comes through and I'm not able to tell
Right.
things, right? So if you want to go into it of an empowerment coach, if that's what you want to call yourself,
Okay.
okay, I think you could probably skip a lot of steps though, because that's what I was doing in the beginning, or helping people with inner child healing, because that's real tangible. That's based in psychology and the health fields. And I was like, hey, we got to help you process your emotions, learn how to hold good boundaries, how to work through imposter syndrome and people pleasing, and all of those human earthly things. Those need to be worked out with your inner children.
Okay.
So if you want to go in that route, you could already be doing that.
Okay.
Okay. And then sprinkle in the psychic. But the more that you research these different things that your higher self said, the easier that you're going to be able to perceive it in others. The reason that you have been so all over the place is because you didn't see the funnel of why you were doing it.
Okay.
But now it's, I need to help people remember who they are underneath all that inner child healing. Like once we get through all of those layers, right? I need to help them figure out what their spiritual gifts are, what their archetypes are, what their lineages are, help them connect to their different incarnations. That's what you're helping people with.
Okay.
So yes, you have to know a lot.
I know a little about a lot. Here we go. More. Bring it on.
Yes. Now,
Okay.
some other things that would be beneficial for you is you need to be trying to connect to your other incarnations.
Okay.
Because if you can connect to your other incarnations, it's easier to connect to other people's.
And do you do that again through meditation?
Well, first, I would do some research about timelines
Timelines.
and parallel realities,
Okay.
which I can send you some information if you would like.
Yes.
Okay.
Parallel realities. Okay.
And the observer effect.
Observer effect. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I will send you videos. There'll be a bunch of links. Okay. You can also do past life meditations. If you want, I did a bunch of those in the beginning of my journey.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have any videos on that, but you can pretty easily find them on YouTube. Now, when you're listening to them, those are energy healers that are creating those for the majority of the time. And if you are listening to one and it doesn't feel good in your body, or you just don't like their voice or their energetics, it doesn't mean anything about them. They're not for you. We need to find them. Okay. But I would do a bunch of past life meditations.
Okay. That gives me some tips too.
Yeah. When we are connecting with our past lives, where people are getting stumped most often is they're going in meditation and just waiting for something to happen. That's not going to ever yield any results. And so we need to figure out either a challenge that we are facing in life and something that we need support and help with, and asking very specific questions about it. How, what, and why work best in your Akashic records, and say, just for an example, not saying this is you, okay, but where is the root of my financial scarcity mindset coming from? Okay. Now you're already doing that with inner child, not with that specifically, but you can find that, right? Now we're just kind of extending that out into our Akasha field and saying, hey, is there anybody that's really good at this that can give me some insights and downloads and some guidance? Okay. Or you can ask them to help you with a spiritual gift, or help you with your soul mission, or help you with, whatever it is that you need in life, but there's got to be some type of input and output. Okay. In order to see them and perceive them.
It's more of a collaborative, and it's more of a collaborative than just give it to me.
Yes. Because the type of healer that you are always going to want to understand on as deep of a level as you possibly can. Okay. Because then you can help other people on an incredibly deep level. But that also means that your higher selves and your guides are never just going to give you stuff. Okay. It's going to be, we need to work this out. Okay. So that way you fully, sometimes people have to keep coming back to the same trauma wound like over and over again, or the same limiting belief, or whatever it is. You're the type of person's like, no, we're going to focus on this until it's cleared. Yeah. But then you can do that with other people and help them like save a lot of time and energy, because you can teach them processes very quickly and say, this is exactly what you need to do. And you need to reach these depths in order to clear it out permanently. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. So when you're doing these past life meditations, they're usually just like general. They're like, oh, we're going to go in here. We're going to see who comes forward. Okay. You can set an intention beforehand of, this is what I need support with. Okay. Yeah. Set intention. Okay. Yeah. And it's not always negative things either. It can be positive things as well. Like, how can you help me with this spiritual gift? It can be a million different things. Yeah. No, yeah. But you're right. The intention is
the most important. So yes. Okay. Well, I took 2 good full pages of
Okay, and I'm
notes.
sending you the replay too, so you can re-listen to it. Oh, okay. Okay.
Done.
So what questions do you have about everything that we talked about? And again, your higher self said, hey, let's not overstimulate ourselves
Yes,
and say
ma'am.
like I have to do all this. Like just do what she said is learning about different types of energetic fields, archetypes, modalities, timelines, parallel realities, observer effect. But
You've
at the
given me
same
so
time,
much good. Yeah.
she does want you to also understand that you could already be giving sessions to people, even if that's just to help them with their human incarnation stuff and their inner child healing, because you already have a good understanding of how to do inner child healing. There are so many people that have no idea how to do that process at all, about how to grab a hold of their thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
detach from them and say, where is this coming from? And then identify where it's coming from. That is a whole session in and
Mm-hmm.
of itself and just teaching people that process. That's what I used to say. This is
It's
how you do it.
so good. It's so good. I tried to explain that to one of my coworkers one day, and both of them were just like enthralled. They were just listening, and I was like, "Okay, this is what you have to do, and you have to
Mhm.
stand in the mirror, and you have to have these deep, dark thoughts, and you have to remember and go back." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that." So I
It's an intensive process.
interesting.
It's an
Yeah,
intensive process. See, this is another thing. If you do end up giving sessions like that, it's
yeah,
easier to teach somebody inner child healing when you have something specific to focus on in a session.
yes,
So for an
yes.
example, I want you to tell me what challenges that you're not you, but I want you to tell me what kind of challenges that you are facing in life right now. Okay, just what are the greatest challenges, real quick. Okay, pinpoint, is that imposter syndrome, people pleasing, fear of success, fear of failure, abandonment wounds? You can pick up on it really quick. Okay, now
Yep,
that we have one energy cord,
yep,
going to help them trek back where that
yep,
is coming from and
yep.
then talk to them about how to talk to their inner child about it and the appropriate age level and how to find the
I
middle.
could definitely be an inner child healer, inner child
Yeah, you already know
energy.
how to do it.
I already know how to,
Yeah, there's so many
no,
people. There's so many people
I don't
that
know
don't understand what that even is or how to do it, or they're scared to do it. So they need energy healers that can teach them how to do it in a loving, compassionate way, but then is also
yeah,
going to push them to do it, because a lot of people don't understand why they need to do it in the first place and how many blockages in their life that those are creating.
I just got super excited.
Yeah, you can do it. That's what she's saying. Hey,
Your
you can
trauma.
already
I
do
want
this.
to know all your trauma.
You are already now can you up level your skills and abilities? Always. Okay, but
Yes,
because you understand these processes, you can
yes.
already be giving sessions to people about it.
Interesting.
Now, in giving sessions with people, that's what I used to do. Is helping people with the inner
What
child
are
stuff.
the qualifications of an energy healer? Like, what is, I don't have a diploma standing on my wall that says I was, given this from Nanita and I am now a master at, so how do you quantify your qualification?
Okay, well, first of all, is knowing how to do it yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so is there some solidity in certificates? For sure, but the greatest solidity is giving yourself that certificate and saying, I know how to do this, and then
Yeah.
practicing with persons and
Yeah.
honing your skills and abilities and giving sessions to others.
Oh
Now,
my
that
goodness.
was a fear of mine in the beginning of, well, I don't have any, I mean, I had a psychology background and, all this,
Right.
but, and I set the intention that I would only pull in people who could frequency read and energy read, that I am the person for them and that I have the skills and the tools and the resources, and I do not
Okay.
need a certificate.
Okay. Okay.
And then I
Okay.
only pulled people. Nope. there's been 1 or 2 people in the past 5 years that have ever asked me about certifications. But that's because I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I explain it very well and very in depth.
Yeah.
I continue to educate myself all
Yes.
the time.
Yeah.
I take what I do very seriously because I
Yeah.
know that I'm holding people's souls in my hand and their sweet baby inner children. Okay. I
Yeah.
am consistently working with my inner children. So
Yes.
my frequency projects. That's an expert in inner child healing.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Everything
But
you
you have to
said
do all
makes
those things.
sense.
But you have to do all those things.
Everything you said makes sense, though.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the only way that you will prove that to yourself that you're capable is giving sessions. As soon as I started giving Akashic record reading sessions, I said, wow, I should have been doing this 2 years ago. I've already been doing it. I have always been counseling and coaching people. Now, the psychic stuff, that came with time.
Okay.
That came with reaching deeper into people's fields, but I could always help people with their 3D human stuff and getting their goals and the desires and the things that they want, or telling why they're blocked, or as what kind of trauma wounds that they're currently working through. I'm sure you're the same.
Okay. Okay. Gosh, I just got super excited though.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yes. Now, I will say that when you are giving sessions to persons like that, one would need to be intentional about where we're meeting people in their what chapter in their life. So, do you want to meet with people that already have inner child healing, like they know about inner child healing, or they don't know about it at all?
I gotcha.
Because that's going to shift the type of person that you bring in, and one's not better than the other. Okay, I used to help people that don't know anything about inner child healing. It's a lot more work to work with those persons.
It is, because you have to start literally at the beginning, at the
Yeah.
very, very beginning. And I've been studying this consistently now for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
5 years. So it would, and even when I talked to the 2 people at work, I was like, it's a lot.
So many
It's
layers. So many
so
layers.
many layers, right? Because one layer led to another, led to another, led to another, led me to you, so it's a lot. So you're right. That's a really good point. Who do I want to bring in? Somebody who's already familiar with the term inner child, or someone who's never even heard the term inner child?
Right. Or is actively working with their inner children, or are they, because if they're already very much already actively working with their inner children, then you can help them with kind of more of the multidimensional facets of themselves. Like you
Okay,
can get a little bit deeper into archetypes and energetic fields and modalities and things of that nature, because they've already cleared out a lot of trauma. But even healers that have done inner child healing, they still have more to go. I
yeah.
still
Oh, we always do.
with right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So figuring out.
I just had that incident at work come up. I mean, literally 2 weeks ago. So I just went through that again, but I can do it quickly now. I can do it like this. So here's the $1 million question. And I know that, you're going to be maybe a little biased, but would your, academy be good for me? Would that be too much? Would that be something I don't need to know that in depth about? What is that the direct? Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it, Robin? Should I do it? Do I need it?
Okay, so with the Quantum Evolution Academy, if you want to become a more proficient inner child healer, yes.
Okay.
Am I going to be teaching you about a bunch of modalities, or teaching you about archetypes and different types of energetic fields? No.
Okay.
I
Okay.
teach you how to access multidimensional facets. One, inner child healing. That's fundamental. I teach you how to become an inner child healer, first and foremost. But then I teach you how to access different facets of self, like different incarnations within yourself, so that you can do that with other people as well. And so that you understand what timelines are and parallel realities. Excuse me. And quantum jumping, I help teach you processing your emotions, subconscious mindset reprogramming, working with the transpersonal chakra system, how to work with others, reaching these depths within themselves.
Okay. So
some of these things you wouldn't be learning with me, like a whole bunch of different energetic fields and archetypes and modalities. I don't teach that stuff.
So what I'm getting right now is that I need to crawl before I stand up to try and walk. And while your academy will be good for me,
Mhm.
it's not right for me right now. I need to do this homework first and understand a little bit more about this, and then maybe
Well, that
pursue that.
depends. Do you want to be giving inner child healing sessions?
Well,
And
yeah.
well,
Yeah, that
then
sounds
do it.
amazing because
So that now the way that the course is set up, okay. So we get into human inner child healing and then multidimensional.
okay.
So it's a lot of heavier, denser work in the beginning, teaching you how to access those within yourself, which you are doing a lot of. This would be more teaching you how to teach others from
Oh,
that
oh,
aspect, because you're already doing that work.
I
You would
just
be
changed
looking
it.
through a teacher lens and saying, oh, this is
Oh,
how Sage created this. And I didn't create the modality, but the way that I do it. And this is how I can explain
well,
the
now I'm back to
concept
I
to
need to
others.
go ahead and sign up right now.
Well, well, it just depends. If you want to kind of put that on the back burner right now, because you don't have to be giving sessions. It's not like your life depends on it. You got a good job and like all these different
Sure.
things. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you want to put the inner child healing on the back burner for a minute because you already know how to do that, right? And maybe we put sessions off. And what's exciting us and going to bring us more joy is learning about different modalities and different type of archetypes and different type of energy fields so we can help ourselves progress in that area.
Hmm.
If you do want to wait. So it's just
Okay.
depending on, because I know, respiratory therapists, they work a lot of hours. So you only you only have so much time during the day. So it depends on what your goal is.
Okay.
What is it they're wanting to do? Now, with the Quantum Evolution Academy as well, if you need a community to support you through these processes,
Which
and
is one thing I need, which is one
yeah,
thing she told me I need. Yes.
if that's what you want, where you are in a network of other energy healers that you can communicate with, support you, that you come to the Zooms and get activations and can ask questions, do all those things, that would be really good. So it
Okay.
just depends on what you want to be focusing on in life right now.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and start giving them energy healing, I mean, those inner child healing sessions, you don't need my course. You can do it. Will it help you? For sure. But you don't have to have it to do that. Your higher
Mhm.
self's like, you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it will help you
That's
teach other people on a deeper processing level. But you may
right.
not need that right now. You might just go off and give sessions and be fine and figure it out yourself. I figured it out myself. So I just condense it for everybody. Yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
I would say sit with your higher self and think about it and say, which direction do I want to head right now? And either one's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. This has been amazing.
Yay. What was your biggest takeaway today?
That I'm still no, I'm not still confused. I do have more of a focus. I do I take the course? Do I not yet? Okay, so but I have a lot more focus. I have some homework to do, which is
Yes.
always good for me. That's good for me to have a focus and have some homework to do. So that's good. Some of these terms I have heard, some I have not. Um, that's my biggest takeaway, just having some focus, having some direction. I'm wanting to phase out respiratory. I'll never leave completely, but
Mhm.
I'm ready to start phasing that out. So so sessions sound exciting. um Focusing on inner child healing sessions, that just sounds,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds like so that all sounds amazing. So now I do have a focus and I have some homework, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that was tripping you up is like, what is my modality?
Yeah, yes,
And
for sure.
that's why we're looking at so many different modalities and say, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? Your
Yeah.
modality is knowing about modalities. And
That's so
it's
ironic.
very
Like,
meta. It's very meta. Okay. So you knowing about a bunch of them so that you can activate that within others. Now, are there some modalities that you might be like, okay, I want to do that too? Like for me, I became a Reiki master, but I don't give people Reiki sessions. I infuse it into the Akasha work that I do. And was I super interested in light language? Yes. I don't call myself a light language practitioner though. I just infuse it into what I do. So I picked up those modalities, but I just infuse it into the connectivity abilities that I have.
And I think that's what was tripping me up too was, okay, if I'm going to learn about sound healing and buy a bunch of crystal bowls, well, now I have to be a sound healer. Well, no, I don't. I just need to know about sound healing. I just need to know about.
And if you want to be a sound healer, you would be a very proficient sound healer because you are a frequency finder.
Yeah.
And that has to do with frequencies.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm drawn to that for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm just excited now because I have some direction, and my sole purpose is a little bit clearer now. I'm here to help. Let me see what I wrote down. I'm here to it's in there somewhere. Anyway, yes, I have more focus, even though I still seem scattered.
You are a activator.
Activator.
You're an activator.
A connector, an activator.
Yeah. Connector, activator. You help people remember what their gifts are and their lineages and the different types of energy that they project.
Yes. Yes. Oh, here it is. Help people know who they are and why they are.
The age-old question.
Who am I and how is it going to help in this incarnation? Right. Yep. So that's my sole purpose.
Absolutely. The people that, and I'm not saying that you need to do this, but this is where I headed on my path, is the people that I work with now are people that want to go do this with other people. Like they want to become New Earth leaders to go out and empower and activate other people. So kind of in that ripple effect.
And I want to gain the knowledge and then spew it out like I'm vomiting tequila. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I want to get as much information, and then for sure, because what's the point in knowing it if you don't share it?
Oh, for sure. For sure. So I train other healers. So that's where you're headed down that path as well. So so if you're wondering like, where am I going to with this? that's where we're going to get to. Now, in the beginning, is that the work that I was doing? No, I was helping people more on the 3D planes and with inner child healing and, and helping people still with like spiritual gifts and things of that nature. But now my main focus is I need to help these healers that want to be energy healers and practitioners, specifically in the collective consciousness. I need to help them get to the next level.
That's so
have a bigger impact. So you can head there too, if that's what you want to do. Not everybody does, but that's where I want to do. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's amazing. I love it. I'm super excited. I can't even remember. I was telling somebody about you, and because I went to a metaphysical shop just to get some more sage, and I was telling her about you, and I got to thinking about it, and I was like, and to be honest, I don't even remember how I came across her. I don't know.
People say that. It just came up on my feed, and I said it was time.
I can't remember if it was IG or Facebook, or I don't remember how it happened or why it happened, but it happened. I just love stuff like that. But
yeah, same. We always get what we need.
Yep, that's it.
Okay,
well, I'm gonna I know we went over, so thank you.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I want to tell you I'm going to send you your oracle cards and your crystal grid, and then I'll get the replay to you when it gets done processing.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. Well, it was lovely meeting you face to face.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll see you later. Bye.